to shut the hand so true, loyal until his friend goes number 2. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real heater. Once my friend, he's a locker room leader. In the chaos, he's the center, turning us into believers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday night. It is 7 p.m. That means it is time for the Locker Room Breakdown on the European Tour as WWE makes their way to the Royal Rumble at the end of this month from Riyadh. We are aware that Raw did air live earlier today. However, those of us here at Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program have not watched it, so we do ask for no spoilers. We will be going live with the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. I am OM Dynamic. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. Always a pleasure to bring you everything that happened last week and preview everything that is going to happen tonight. Last week was the 1-year anniversary on Netflix, coming to us from the UBS Center in New York City. Lots of expectation going into the show, and some did not live up to it. Some was somewhat not surprised on a couple of those things that happened or didn't happen, but I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. It was almost a PLE feel to last Monday. 3 separate titles on the line, plus the return match of Liv Morgan from injury. And let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. As much as I am not a fan of Asuka and the Kabuki Warriors, I am a fan of Kairi Sane. And the Kabuki Warriors stepped up, opened Monday Night Raw last week, defending their women's tag team championships against the team of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, or Rio. And what a way to start the show. This was magic. Again, I am not a fan of Asuka, but Asuka stepped up and delivered. Kairi stepped up and delivered. Rio stepped up and delivered. This was absolutely incredible, this match. Back and forth. High flying, technical prowess, power versus power, you name it, everything. Everything was delivered in this match. In the end, I apologize. In the end, we did come away with new tag team champions in the team of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. And the big thing that really stood out to me for this match was that it was a clean victory for Rio. There was no interference from Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. There was no interference from Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. This was just 2 teams going at it hard. They fought, they pushed each other, they took each other to limits that I don't think we have seen in a very, very long time. But I have to ask, did they miss pulling the trigger on something here? had the Kabuki Warriors retained, would we have seen a Rhea Ripley or Io Sky turn on the other because they couldn't get the job done, and their history has dictated that? We both know that they have been betrayed by others in their past, whether it was the Judgment Day or the Kabuki Warriors for Io Sky. Or would it have just come to a mutual parting of the ways? Did WWE miss the opportunity in pulling the trigger on a heel turn for either one of them? Or was this the right move to get Rhea and Io back into a title scene without having them clouding the main event picture? Does this now maybe move the idea of the Kabuki Warriors challenging individually for the Women's Intercontinental Championship or further up the card? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I am intrigued to see where each of these teams go. We do know that Alexa and Charlotte have already called next. We did not see the team of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky on SmackDown this past Friday. We know that Charlotte and Alexa have called next. Do we get that face-off? Do we get the opportunity for that challenge, for that match coming up later this month, whether it's at Saturday night's main event or the Rumble? Time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. I'm leaning more towards Saturday night's main event for that. But I am intrigued as to where we go with the Women's Tag Team Championships. Up next, we had the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch once again challenged Maxine Dupri. Maxine, who has 3 victories over Becky, would she retain? Or would Becky go back to, as I've said, and in my words only, I'm not going to put words in anybody else's mouth, using that Intercontinental Championship as an aesthetic? I really, really had hoped that we would get a stronger and much longer run from Maxine. That was not the case, as Becky pulled an Eddie Guerrero and decided to cheat to win the match, as she caught the ref out of position and was able to hold the ropes as she was pinning Maxine Dupri. And your winner and new Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch. I am intrigued to see where they go with this. Do we go back, as I just asked on the Women's Tag Team Championships? Does this propel Do we propel Asuka and Kairi up to challenge for that title? Do we get somebody else stepping up and into that? Whether it may be a Lyra Valkyria, whether it may be a Bayley. There are so many different directions we can go, because we know that Lyra can now once again challenge for that Women's Intercontinental Championship. So I am intrigued. I am disappointed that Becky Lynch won, because I wanted a much longer, much stronger run for Maxine Dupri. She has shown that she is willing to put in the work. She is willing to improve. And I don't think that they needed to do this. I don't think Becky needs the Intercontinental Championship. And I don't think the Intercontinental Championship needs Becky. Yes, the Intercontinental Championship was actually elevating Maxine and not the other way around. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. It's still going to be a very, very interesting mid-card scene for the women. Do we get some new call-ups from NXT tonight to potentially step in and challenge for that? Is that where we're going with this? again, the Kabuki Warriors, Lyra Valkyria, Bayley. Do you potentially see Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, or Liv Morgan step up and challenge for it? There are a wild number of directions that we can go with the Women's Intercontinental Championship as well. Next up, we saw Gunther in the back talking with Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce told him, look, you can go out there, say what you got to say, but put a little bit of respect in your voice. Gunther once again milked all of the heat that he absolutely could. And as soon as he started to talking, he was interrupted by AJ Styles. And this was a very, very interesting face-to-face. And I really liked it for Gunther garnering more heat. I don't like the current direction for Gunther as being the guy to potentially be retiring all the people on their way out. But every time Gunther would pause and AJ went to speak, Gunther would talk over him, leading to AJ smacking him across the face. And then they went nose to nose, forehead to forehead, and eye to eye. And then a little bit later on, Gunther got back in Adam Pearce's face saying he wanted AJ. And once again, AJ interrupted. And so that was made official. We are going to get that match tonight, which we will discuss coming up fairly shortly in our preview portion of the show. We had a return, so to speak, as we had Liv Morgan making her first appearance in a match, her first match back from her injury and since returning at Survivor Series. And she went one-on-one with Lyra Valkyria. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the women of WWE do it all. They elevate their game. They are on a much higher plateau than the men now, so to speak. And I am not ashamed or afraid to say that, people. The women are here, the men are here. This was, again, ladies and gentlemen, just an incredible match. We did see a little bit of interference from Roxanne Perez. Sorry, I was drawing a blank there for a moment. Which did cause a distraction. But Bayley was also at ringside. She went over, got in Roxanne's face, chased Roxanne off. They both ran up the apron or up the alleyway. And as Lyra was looking and shouting for Bayley, in comes Liv and hits Oblivion to put away Lyra Valkyria. Is this where we're going? Do we need to see Bayley and Lyra versus the Judgment Day again? I've said give me Roxanne and Lyra night in, night out. I'm still on that. But I don't need it to be Judgment Day versus it's just gotten repetitious. If we're going to do anything now, I think it might be time to pull the trigger and really make that decision on where you're going with the women in the Judgment Day. Is it now Liv and Roxanne? Is it Raquel and Roxanne? Is it Liv and Raquel? You have to make that decision, ladies and gentlemen. We also, I do digress, before that match, we actually had Stephanie Vaquer in the ring addressing the fact that she was in a walking boot and her championship, stating, "This isn't going to stop me. I am the champion for a reason, and I'm going to continue to defend." She was attacked by Raquel Rodriguez, who was then thrown out of the building by Adam Pearce. It did devolve into chaos in the back, leading to Raquel being tossed from the building. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we were at. We were at 3 matches, 3 women's matches to open Raw before we got to our main event. But, ladies and gentlemen, before I cover the main event, why don't you check out the main event, which is all of our programming here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you have ever wanted your break in podcasting, content creation, a potential collaboration, or just to help us out behind the scenes, turnbucklestudios.org is the place to be for all your Turnbuckle Affiliation programming needs. Meet the team under the host section. Myself, Chris Best, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, and Carl Carafel. Get all of our socials there. Watch our latest weekly live episodic shows, including this one, which will be up in just a little bit. Hit the join button. Send us your credentials. Tell us how you can help us, how we can help you. And we can sit down as a collaborative and figure out the best fit. And of course, hit the shop button. Go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com. Support your favorite shows. Support your favorite podcasters. Wear what we wear. All of the proceeds there come back into our studios to deliver you a better experience. Turnbucklestudios.org, ladies and gentlemen, for all your Turnbuckle Affiliation program needs. Ladies and gentlemen, on to the main event of last week, and there was a lot of intrigue surrounding this one. Would the future become the present? Or would the old guard reign supreme? Braun Breaker versus CM Punk for your World Heavyweight Championship. Was there going to be a return in this match? We'd heard a couple of different speculations. And were we let down? I say no. This match absolutely delivered. Braun Breaker showed why he is a future WrestleMania main eventer, why he is a future world champion. Just like his first shot at the NXT championship, one mistake was all that it took to cost him. CM Punk retained. It was a hard-fought match. Both men going back and forth. the speed and power of Braun Breaker versus the knowledge and the experience of CM Punk. Of course, Paul Heyman being at ringside in Braun Breaker's corner, we did get a little bit of interference from Bronson Reed. And I believe Austin Theory. I can't remember if it was Bronson and Logan Paul that came out. It might have been all three. But we also had Penta, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio come out to counter the rest of the Vision to try and keep it at a one-on-one match, with Paul Heyman being, of course, in Braun Breaker's corner. I know we were all waiting for the lights to go out, for the clock to count down, and we were going to hear either "break the walls down," or we could have heard Judas. We didn't know. Did we get it? Unfortunately, no, we did not get the return of Chris Jericho, as was widely anticipated and speculated last week. And I am okay with it. It wasn't actually needed. The show delivered on its own merit. Yes, it would have been a great surprise, but I think that could have diminished what had happened on SmackDown with the return of Jacob Fatu. We were also potentially teased LA Knight returning. We know that LA Knight has history with the Vision. We know that LA Knight has history with CM Punk. Again, that wasn't needed, but it could have worked in that absolute position. I'm okay with this, ladies and gentlemen. I think that you can save Chris Jericho. For me as well, I'm going to say this. I think the arena, I think the fact that it was at the UBS Arena in New York and not Madison Square Garden played a factor in that decision. Had it been Madison Square Garden, I think you absolutely would have had the return of Chris Jericho. But because of where it was, I think that played a huge factor. Mr. Best, thank you for joining me. Great to see you as always in here, my brother. Saying they could be saving those returns for the Rumble. They absolutely could. I think that Chris Jericho, there's a few options, and I will cover all of those coming up during the preview portion of the show, but definitely the Rumble is a possibility, or even the Raw after and building for WrestleMania. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get on to the preview portion of the show. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at our shop.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, turnbucklestudios.org is the place to be for all your Turnbuckle affiliation program needs. Meet the team. Myself, Chris Best, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, and Carl Carafel. Get all of our socials and watch our latest weekly live episodic shows under the host section. Hit the join button. Send us your credentials. Tell us how you can help us and how you believe we can help you. And we can go from there and figure out the best fit. And of course, go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com. Support your favorite shows. Support your favorite podcasters. Wear what we wear. And all of those proceeds come back in so that we can bring you a better experience. Turnbucklestudios.org and carlcarafel.redbubble.com for all your Turnbuckle affiliation program needs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is going to be very, very intriguing. And let's start. We have a couple of matches announced and a whole lot of people slated to appear. Tonight we are getting the team of Penta and Dragon Lee with Rey Mysterio in their corner versus the team of Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. With, of course, Paul Heyman in their corner. This is stemming from what happened last week and the fallout from that World Heavyweight Championship match between CM Punk and Braun Breaker. I think if you're really trying to build Theory and make him far more credible, you've just had Dragon Lee lose the tag team championships. You've now got him teaming with a guy that he has worked with before in Penta, with Rey. Is this a rebuilding now for the LWO? Is this something new? I don't know. I'm intrigued to see where they go with this. Does this put two new teams into contention for our World Tag Team Championships, currently held by the Usos? Do we get the Vision going after the Usos next? I would be intrigued to see it. Does Dragon Lee call AJ Styles and say, hey, we've got to get our rematch, brother? Do we go back to that? Do we get Penta and Rey? There's such a multitude of directions, and I hope we start to get some answers towards that after tonight. Again, going to be very, very intriguing to see. We are going to hear from CM Punk. Is he going to pump Braun Breaker's tires? Is he going to give Braun Breaker credit for that fight that they were in last week, that war that they went to? Does CM Punk now change his focus to what's next? Does he change his focus to who he's going to potentially face at Saturday night's main event or at the Royal Rumble? Does Braun Breaker come back out, get back in his face saying, no, this ain't done? Again, ladies and gentlemen, a multitude of possibilities. Do we get another call up from NXT getting into CM Punk's face? Again, going to be very, very interesting to see the way this all shakes out. We are going to hear from Raquel Rodriguez in regards to her attack on Stephanie Vaquer. Is she now in this for herself? Is she still with the Judgment Day? Are her, Liv, and Roxanne a cohesive unit? Or does this really start to show some splinters in that foundation for the Judgment Day? Speaking of that, we are also going to hear from our new Women's World Tag Team Championships, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Do we get whichever two members of the Judgment Day. Do we get the Kabuki Warriors asking for their rematch? Do we get Bailey and Lyra asking for their rematch or for an opportunity? Do we hear from Charlotte and Alexa? Do we hear from Nia and Lash? What is Rio's direction with the women's tag team championships? And that, the words from Rhea Ripley and Io Sky will open Raw tonight, apparently, as well. What I am looking at as our main event, and I'm going off of the information I have been given, so I've only got that match. I believe Javon Evans, who is Raw's newest signing, has a match tonight too. I just can't remember against whom. But we do have AJ Styles one-on-one with Gunther. AJ has so many more important things to focus on right now, whether it's the tag team championships and getting his rematch against the Usos. I know he's doing this because of his respect for John Cena and the way Gunther has handled that situation. And like I said, I'm not a fan of this direction for Gunther. I don't want Gunther to be this legend retirer, so to speak. So if this is a one-off, great. If this is going to build up and then we're going to get further down in the year AJ Styles versus Gunther again with AJ Styles last match, I really hope that this is just a one-off for them. Also expected to appear. Expect to hear from Stephanie Vaquer, our Women's World Heavyweight Championship. I've already mentioned CM Punk. Of course, the Vision. We will hear from Becky Lynch, our Women's Intercontinental Champion. And where do we go with that? Do we get Maxine stepping up and saying she wants her rematch? Do we get somebody new coming out to challenge Becky Lynch for that Intercontinental Championship? We are also going to hear probably from the Usos, our World Tag Team Champions. Again, I've mentioned, do we hear from Dragon Lee? What do we hear from Dragon Lee, Ray, and Penta? There are so many different directions to go. But ladies and gentlemen, if there is one thing that I would do tonight, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I would, if you were to return Chris Jericho tonight in Dusseldorf, Germany, as part of Gunther AJ Styles, I think that would be absolutely incredible and a show-stopping moment. But, ladies and gentlemen, I digress. That is all of the information I have for you tonight. Unfortunately, it's a little bit short. But, ladies and gentlemen, once again, check out all of everything we have going on here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and how you can help us out.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, that does it for us here tonight at the Locker Room Breakdown. Please stay tuned to the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and the Turnbuckle Studios YouTube channel for the Raw Patrol coming up at 8 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, please always remember, the world is better with you in it. From all of us here at the LRB and Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, to those of you out there wherever you are, good night, good luck. We out.
In the locker room, a guy you'll find loves bad hockey, teams can't deny. His best friend is up the hand, so true. Loyal until his friend goes number 2. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a week